Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Chelsea and thank you so much for clicking on my video. It's 2023. This is my first video of 2023 and as you can see from the title, we're going to be talking about periods, menstruation, your cycle, whatever you want to call it. Probably you've just started your period or you are yet to start your period and you don't really know what to do. Your mom hasn't talked to you about it. Your teachers are too religious and somehow think that speaking about periods is like sexual and you just don't have anyone to give you the tips and tell you everything that you need to know about your periods. If this is a video that you're interested in, please make sure you give this video a thumbs up. I'm trying to get this video to 2,000 likes. Let's start small. 2,000 likes. I've got all the products that I'm gonna be talking about right here. You guys won't be able to see them, but everything is over here. I'm going to talk about every single thing and also just tell you guys what my experience has been, my routine, the things that I have learned so far in the years that I have had my period. And of course, if you are older, you definitely do understand, but just to inform those who are younger than me, your period is like the peak of you becoming a woman. So there's definitely going to be changes in your body, and then your period is the epitome. It's the literal, like, yeah, now you're a woman. You had titties, but now you've got your period, now you're a woman. You ovulate on your 14th day of your cycle. If there's no sperm for fertilization to happen, there's shedding of the uterus, and that's what comes out as blood. People have different cycles. There's people who have 28 days, there's people who have 21 days. There's also those people who have irregular periods. So there's regular and irregular. And there's also a category of people who have hormonal imbalance and they end up experiencing something called PCOS, which is a whole other conversation in itself. I do have someone who's very close to me that has PCOS. It's not some best thing to experience, to be honest, and all the love to everyone who experiences PCOS. There is nothing shameful about your period. There's people who get their period way earlier, the early bloomers. There's people who get their periods way later. I got mine when I was 13 and I think I was probably like one of the last people in my class to get their period because I got my period in my final year in primary school and I was so excited, you guys. Like, I was so excited to finally get my period because my mom had been speaking to me about having my period since I was 9 years old, guys. Since I was 9. My mom used to buy me pads since I was 9. I'd end up giving out my pads to people who would start their periods. They probably didn't even know what it was and I just give them my pads. I literally had all the information. She even got me a book called Girls Only. I don't know if it's still there, but it's a really good book if you're younger and you're probably trying to understand this whole shebang. So I read that book and I ended up circulating it to my entire class. My mom gave me all this information because her experience was so traumatic to the point where she didn't want me to experience the same thing. So she just overloaded me with knowledge. By the time I was literally 10, I was guiding people who were 16 on what to do, probably like 13, 14, on what to do about their periods because a lot of people just didn't know. But right now we're definitely living in a time where information is everywhere and that's why you have people like me who are willing to just talk about these things openly. Also, regardless of when you start your period, you will start. Don't feel bad if you start before others and don't feel bad if they come later than others because I remember that was a big thing for me. I just kept feeling like, why is everyone maturing and I'm not? Like, what's happening to me? What's happening? These are not the only products that you can use. There's normal pads, tampons, reusable pads, the ones that you like, I think it's like in a panty and you like wash it. Apart from that, there's also menstrual cups. I've never tried menstrual cups. I think I would like to try them. I've got some pads here, 2 of them remaining. These are the Goodnight pads from Body Form, and this is how it looks when you take it out of the package. This is how it looks. So you just open up the wrapper. Like that. Just take this off. Don't throw this in the bin yet, just keep this aside. I'll show you what to do with it. But this is basically what the pad is going to look like. I personally prefer to get pads that have wings. These are the wings that I'm talking about. Yeah. The wings are just to secure the pad on your underwear. I've got an underwear here, so I'm gonna show you guys how to actually wear the pad. It's a black underwear as well. I would 100% recommend getting a few underwears that you're always gonna use around your period. I personally like to go for black or navy blue or a brown, just something in the dark colors. So you just put it on your underwear and then you use the wings to secure it underneath your underwear. And you can actually do this the way I've done it, or you can even do it when you're wearing the underwear and you just do the same thing as what I've shown you. So that, and once you wear this, it's gonna keep everything in place. Personally, only use pads at night because I prefer to use tampons, which I'm gonna get into. But if you prefer to use pads, I think it's probably like 4 hours depending on what your flow is like. So I'd definitely say if you have a heavy flow, keep going to the bathroom probably like an hour and a half, and just check what's happening down there. If the pad is soiled, then just change it and get another pad. Once the pad is soiled, this is what you do when you're disposing the pad. So you just take it off. When you've gone to the bathroom, take it off, roll it. I don't have toilet paper here, but I personally like to roll it and then put a bit of toilet paper to get the wrapping for the next pad that I'm going to be wearing, and then I just wrap that simply like that and throw it in the bin. This never goes down the toilet. Don't try to flush this, you're gonna block your toilet. Don't do that, just throw it in the bin. So personally, and what I would highly recommend actually for everyone, please use unscented pads. The problem with scented pads is the perfume can actually be very irritating to your area down there, because that girl, she likes, just keep her simple. Don't try to do all these things to make her smell like flowers and roses. She's not supposed to smell like that. I was in school, I was in boarding school, and I borrowed someone a pad because I had started my periods and I hadn't carried pads. So I borrowed someone a pad, and the one that she gave me was scented. When I tell you guys, I got the irritation of my life. My girl, she is sensitive. She is so sensitive. I cannot use anything that has fragrance. When I used that scented pad, it really irritated me so bad. I got contact dermatitis from it. If you're very sensitive, please stay away from the scented pads. Even if you're not sensitive, I would just advise just use the unscented ones, honestly. The tampons that I use are from Tampax. It's actually two different ones. There's the ones that come with the applicator, I think is like cardboard, and then this one is plastic. I'm gonna show you guys. I use the heavy flow on my first and my second day, which are normally my heaviest, and then I use this small one on my third day, and then by the fourth day my period is like close to nothing. So on that day I use panty liners, which I will be showing you guys as well. So when it comes to tampons, this I think was probably the thing that my mom didn't teach me how to wear tampons. She bought them for me. Like I had them, but I didn't know how to actually use them. So I learned how to use tampons by myself from YouTube, like a video like this one. So this is what a tampon looks like. This is the one for heavier flow. So once you open it, definitely make sure to wash your hands before you do anything down there, because you are downstairs having fries with ketchup and then you just go back to the bathroom and you're doing things down there with your hands full of ketchup. Please don't do that. This is what the tampon looks like, and it comes in this applicator, which is plastic. And basically the way you insert it, it's not as intimidating as you might be thinking it is. It's really not. It's a very simple thing. There's like a lower bit and this top bit. I don't know if you guys can actually see properly. I really hope you can. So what you do is you just pull this bit down, the lower bit, pull it down until it gets to a point where it's gonna make like a tiny click sound. So once it's got there, this is what you insert into your Gucci. Get into a comfortable position. If it's your first time, I would definitely recommend doing this in front of a mirror. Just sit in front of a mirror, legs open, and then just insert it. Just put it in. Using this bit that you had extended, just push it in like that until it gets to the end, and once it gets to the end, it gets inside your vagina. The string is gonna be left hanging. So the string is what you use to remove the tampon, okay? So even with the tampon, keep it in not more than 4 hours, depending on your flow as well. And you can also get a bit of a leak with tampons, especially if your flow is heavy. What I like to do is, whilst I'm wearing the tampon, I still put something on my underwear so that I don't get any leaks. And what I use is my panty liner. I have a tampon in, and the string hanging on the outside, and then I just take a panty liner and place it on my panty. If I have any leaks, then it's gonna go on the panty liner and my underwear is gonna be okay. When it comes to practicing how to wear a tampon, please don't do it before your period starts. Taking that tampon out is gonna hurt. Wait until your first day. Once your period has actually come, that's when you try to actually insert. If you're moving around and you're sitting down and whatever and you're still feeling your tampon, that means you probably haven't inserted it the correct way. It's a bit too close to the opening, okay? So it's supposed to go a bit deeper. It's very comfortable. You can go swimming, play sports, you can do everything that you want. I find the tampon a lot more freeing. I don't like the feeling of like sitting in the blood. And I'm also gonna get graphic because like when you go to the bathroom and you're wearing a pad and like you take a number 2, you're gonna be wiping blood plus the number 2 plus pee. It just doesn't work for me, okay? Like you use whatever you want to use. There's no shame. You can use a pad if that's what works for you, honestly. But for me, I just personally I like the tampon. I like how I even forget that I'm on my period. Because you can't actually feel the tampon, it's very easy to forget that it's in there. So please don't forget that you're wearing your tampon, because you can actually get I think there's like a shock something syndrome. Let me actually check what it's called. Tampon toxic shock syndrome. Yeah, that's when you've had the tampon in for way too long, like way too long, and it ends up like giving an infection on the inside. Because if you think about it, this is you inserting something, a foreign object inside you. Yeah, please don't leave it for way too long. My flow is normally the heaviest on my first day and the most and the most painful on my first day. So once you get to the days where your flow is literally almost disappearing, getting to the point where it's looking a little more brown than red, and that's when you use panty liners. Normally when my flow is at that point, I can't even have the small tampon, because once it's gotten to the point where it's probably just like spotting here and there, even with a small tampon, it's gonna be quite irritating to pull out. Because the thing is, with the tampon, the reason why the tampon is not gonna hurt you when you're on your period is because there's all that lubrication happening from the blood and the mucus and all the goodness that's happening down there. So when you pull it out, the tampon is wet, so it's gonna expand, yes, but it's full of blood, so it just literally like just glides off. So if you are actually experiencing pain and to insert a tampon, that could potentially be a sign of vaginismus. And vaginismus is basically when the vaginal muscles tense up when anything is inserted. So yeah, that could potentially be the reason why it's painful for you to insert a tampon. Once the tampon is soiled, what I normally do is I just get toilet paper and just wrap it around the tampon and then just throw it in the bin, because the wrapping is a bit too small to put it back in there. It's not like a pad where you can roll it up and everything, so I just use toilet paper. So for the underwear, definitely go for darker colors unless you want to, you know, ruining your good underwear. So go for darker colors, underwears that you're always just gonna wear on your period and you don't mind if they get stained or anything. But also the fitting, make sure it covers your butt. Like make sure the underwear covers your butt. Don't get like a thong or a flirty little underwear for your period. No, get something that's actually going to be comfortable, that's going to support you, and get a good size. It's not too tight, because if it's too tight it's going to be uncomfortable, but it's also not loose, because if the underwear is loose, that pad is going to be moving around. Like, you know what I'm saying. You know that pad is gonna be moving around. She's gonna be making, you know, flips and turns and whatever, and that's gonna make blood to seep through to your clothes. Make sure that you just have something that actually fits you properly. It fits snug, so if you put that pad on there, it's gonna stay there and it's not gonna start moving around as you're walking, depending on what your walking style is like. Let's move into cramps. I have had the worst cramps to ever exist. Okay, I know there's people who have endometriosis and conditions like that. I don't know if I do. There's a point where I low-key thought I did, because my cramps were way too painful. People experience different levels of pain when it comes to their period. Just because you have your period and you don't experience any pain, don't shut down someone who is literally getting bedridden because of their pain. When I was in high school, I always had to go to the sanatorium because of my period pain. Normal painkillers just wouldn't work for me, so I had to get like an injection. We used to get injection that I think the medication was a lot faster or something, so I think like it sips in the blood way faster and it helps you heal. After the injection, I had to sleep. Like I couldn't just get the injection and then go back to class. Like I had to sleep first, wait for the medication to work, which would probably take like an hour or two. In high school I was in Kenya, and there was not many choices when it came to the painkillers, just normal like paracetamol. There was nothing that was dedicated to period pains. So actually there was a point where my mom bought me like a whole bag of just medication, of this medication. So this is the Nurofen and this is the liquid capsules. These ones are the ones that I recommend, and I love them so much because first of all, I hate taking tablets. I hate taking tablets so much. So I appreciate when it's an easy thing for me to take the tablets, because these ones are just liquid capsules and they work so fast. So even when I was in school and I would take this, in about 30 minutes, even if I don't sleep, the pain would literally go away. But you do have to take this after a meal, so you can't just take this on an empty stomach. It's gonna irritate your body. So make sure you've eaten something before you take the medication, but this is normally what I use. Currently, my cramps have been a bit better over the past few months actually, but I think it's because I have been eating a lot better. My mom has been doing keto, and because of that, by extension, I end up eating what she's eating. So there's been lots and lots of vegetables, lots of iron and stuff like that. So what I normally do is around my period, I cook liver, things that are going to be high in iron. So liver, beef, lots and lots of greens, because that's what is gonna help with your period. Anyway, for me anyway, when I eat so much junk just before my period, I will get the worst cramps, and my cramps used to be so bad, guys. I would be puking. If you have endometriosis, then that's a completely different ballgame. Please go and consult your gynecologist. If you just have like bad cramps, make sure you eat lots of iron around your period. Iron is also good for preventing anemia, because that's also something that you can get because of your periods, depending on how heavy your periods are. So now let's get to the important part, okay? How to eliminate odor. Every single woman has a scent to them, like a natural scent to you without perfume. There's just a way you smell, depending on your body chemistry and the things that you ingest into your body. Things you eat do affect how you smell everywhere. They affect how your sweat smells, how your pee smells, how your lady smells. For example, onions. If you eat onions, the next day she's gonna be smelling a bit oniony. And there's some people that have a more slight scent to them, and there's people who it's a lot more on the extreme, probably a bit pungent. If it's at that point where it's like pungent, like it's bad, like a bad smell, please go and get checked. If you go get checked and there's nothing wrong, then I'm gonna tell you some specific things that you can do to make sure that you're keeping that area fresh and free of odor. First thing, the hair down there is gonna have an impact on how you smell, especially around your period. So this is not even to say that you have to shave or wax or whatever. I don't really care what you do or what you prefer to do. If you want to keep the hair, fine, trim it so that it's like really short, because what's gonna happen is when you're bleeding, and especially if you're wearing pads, the blood is coming out of your body. It's coming from the insides of your body going out. So the blood itself already smells like blood, and then it's getting tangled with all the hair, and you're sweating, and there's all these things, you're peeing, and the pee is also, the smell of the pee is also getting stuck on the hair. Like there's just so much happening. Personally, I prefer to wax. Before my period, I always get waxed. If you get waxed, don't get waxed like right before your period, because it's gonna be so painful, or right after your period, it's gonna be really painful. So what I like to do is get waxed about 2 weeks or a week before my period. My hair currently grows back very slowly because I've been getting waxed for quite a long time. The rate at which my hair grows back is very slow. I like my girl to be bald as like this. Even when I'm not on my period, like I've always been waxing for 6 years now, and I can't go back. I don't like to have hair down there. That's just what works for me. When you go to the bathroom, I love to always have some wet wipes with me everywhere. These ones are the ones that I always have in the bathroom. These are the ones that my mom and I use, but I always make sure that I have smaller wipe to carry in my handbag when I'm out and about. I use these wipes when I'm on my period, but also when I'm not on my period. I use wet wipes every single time I visit the bathroom. Like, personally, I don't know about you, to me using tissue is just not enough. I have to go in with something wet, you know, and just wipe myself properly. Once I take out my tampon, the area is gonna be dry anyway. I'm not wearing a pad. It's different when you're wearing a pad, then there's gonna be blood everywhere. The tampon, very unlikely to have blood unless you probably like had a leak through or something. I'm gonna tell you guys with an example of a pad. I hold it like this, like on the palm of my hand, and then I wipe myself front to back. Okay, don't be doing this. Don't do that, because the bacteria on your behind is different from the bacteria on the front. Vagina has good and bad bacteria, so there is bacteria there, yes, definitely, but she likes to keep her bacteria to herself. So don't be doing bacteria transfer. So from the front to back, like this. Okay. So like that. Okay, I'm gonna get a bit graphic here. What I like to do is I don't just wipe front to back, like just in one line. So as I'm doing the front, I also go in between my labia minora, which is like the inner lips. There's crevices on there, so you're sweating, the blood is gonna get caught on there as well. What I like to do is like a little V, because it's now to go inside the labia minora, and then now just zoop to your bum. Fold it, then go again, then fold again, and then just fold it and throw it in the bin if it's not flushable, and if it's flushable, then throw it in the toilet and then flush it away. If you think about it, pee has a smell depending on how much water you're having. So when you pee and you just pat yourself dry with a tissue, you're not actually cleaning yourself properly. There's gonna be a smell. Okay, so if you're on your period and you've just used tissue, there's blood, there's discharge, there's pee, and then you also take a number 2 and you just use tissue, girl, of course after some time the odor is gonna be there. So when I'm wiping myself, I've shown you guys how to do it with just the wet wipe, but I go an extra step further. So I always have this tiny spray bottle in my bathroom. It's just plain water, and I spray it. I literally drench the wet wipe with water. So once I drench it, then I do the same thing, front to back. And honestly, when I do that, by the end of the day, I still smell fresh. I still feel fresh. I make an effort to take a shower twice a day when I'm on my period, especially my first 2 days, because that's when my flow is like really heavy. This is normally what I use for my feminine wash, even when I'm not on my period. It's from the honey pot, and this one is the one for sensitive skin. So this one, the first ingredient is water. When it comes to how you're cleaning yourself, with a detachable shower head, detach that shower head, okay, and hold it down to your area. Using your 2 little fingers, pat your lips, okay? Do a Red C on your lips and pat them, and let the water just run. I don't use a washcloth or anything. I just like to use my hands, and I just go on the outer lips, which are the labia majora, wash that, and then on the labia minora as well, just go in with my fingers. And then once I've done that, then I take 2 pumps of my feminine wash myself down there, and then rinse myself off. Keep it as simple as it is. If you have a routine that works, please don't switch it up, because you might switch it up and then something happens and it just flares and you get an infection somehow. Sorry you guys, my camera died, so I just had to change the batteries. Drying up after the shower, I like to use just a normal flannel. I have like 4 of these, so I just get out to the bathroom and wipe myself with this, because at least something like this you can actually wash it. And because mine are white, I can use bleach and just put it in hot water, soak it a bit, and the blood is gonna be out. Instead of doing that, you could also use toilet paper. The only thing I don't like about toilet paper is it's gonna end up like leaving, you know, like sticking on your skin, or like tissue rolls. But yeah, that is honestly it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know how old you are when you started your periods. Let me know what your experience was like. Do you get cramps? Do you not? I really enjoyed filming this video, and I trust that if you guys enjoyed it, you're gonna give me a thumbs up. If you are not yet subscribed, I know that you liked this video, so go ahead and give me a subscribe. I love you guys so much, and I can't wait to see you guys in my next video. I love you guys so much. Bye.